Hi, and welcome back to the IVF Daddies podcast. Today, we're with a great friend of mine who's come all the way from Ireland to visit us. We're currently in Brussels, and it's my great honor to introduce Connor. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, Richard. Delighted to be here.
So, Dr. Connor Curley is the owner with his wife Nicola of Phytaphix. Tell us about Phytaphix.
Yeah, so Phytaphix is a nutrition product company focused on food supplements based on science for different indications. My kind of interest in this area comes from when I was 15. I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. I had to learn how to walk again, how to talk again, and so on. And my focus became getting healthy for me and then trying to get others healthy as well. So when I left school, I went to Trinity College in Ireland, in Dublin, and studied human nutritional dietetics. And from there, I went on to complete my clinical doctorate with the School of Medicine at University College Dublin. I worked throughout Ireland, then I worked in America, and I came back to set up a company based on my own research and expertise and the best science available.
Perfect. So, Phytaphix is basically you solving a problem for yourself and your MS to then go, okay, what can I do to make it better? What can I do to help others?
Absolutely.
So when we look at your MS and Phytaphix, how has that helped?
Yeah, so I've had MS now for well over half of my life, and it just so happens that MS has a huge component got to do with lifestyle. So not just diet and nutrition, but stress, physical activity, sleep, and everything. So this is what I had to learn myself. I didn't really get told any of this in my clinical journey through the hospitals and seeing lots of doctors and physicians and so on. Nobody really mentioned this, how important it was. So I learned it myself, but I thought not everybody has the luxury of going to university and studying for 10 years to learn the best science about how to help their own condition. So I try to help others in their own condition. So whether it's multiple sclerosis or rheumatoid arthritis or a fertility issue, for example. So what we were able to do was go to the scientific research, find some studies that were done in people with multiple sclerosis, not in test tubes or animals, and showed that some nutrition compounds had really amazing results. We're able to get into the brain, into the central nervous system, reduce inflammation, reduce oxidative stress, and this resulted in decreasing the brain lesions inside people's brains with MS. Absolutely phenomenal. Also being able to improve things like fatigue, inflammation, mood state, and so on. I thought that sounds pretty good. I would like that for me, and I would like it for others as well.
Yeah, it's really interesting because my Xander is my son and his godfather has MS and doesn't eat red meat, doesn't drink milk. There's a whole list of foods that he's like, this doesn't work for me. But obviously by not eating those, you're then cutting out certain nutritions, right? So
Yeah.
And then obviously this is an IVF and a surrogacy podcast.
Yes.
But I was fascinated as to how you entered into Phytaphix and how that kind of informed your life. After you did that, what then happened to lead us to talking to today?
So the backstory is I was invited back in 2019 to speak at the Endometriosis Association of Ireland conference. And I still remember the phone call vividly, and I said, yes, of course I'll speak. But when I hung up the phone, the first thing I did was Google, what is endometriosis?
Of course I'll do it. I have no idea what I'm talking.
So I had never heard of endometriosis as a healthcare professional that had worked clinically, that had worked in research settings. I'd never even heard of endometriosis. And I've come to learn that that's not that unusual, that endometriosis is still very neglected. So I went along to the conference. I did a lot of research before going, so I knew what I was speaking about. And I was just so kind of taken by how common, severe, and neglected endometriosis was and still is. So I became quite interested and passionate about endometriosis. And then a couple of months later, COVID-19 gripped the world and changed my little world, but it changed everybody's lives. So I suppose when lockdown restrictions were lifted and so on a couple of years later, I got back into it and we launched a product based specifically on research done in ladies with endometriosis, which could show things like decreased estrogen levels, decreased inflammation, decreased pain scores in ladies with endometriosis, even decreasing endometrioma size, which was amazing. But then I figured out next that up to 50% of fertility cases in ladies can be linked to endometriosis. So from there I thought, okay, wow, fertility is an issue here. So then I opened my eyes and saw how big of an issue fertility is globally in men and in women.
I find it fascinating that for me, this is my entire life. Like, this is my passion. This is what I do. Julio is by my side, and we are so involved in the world of infertility that you forget that a lot of people it's peripheral. They're not part of this. They get pregnant, they're fine, they're good, off you go, right? And it's only when it actually impacts you that you then start deep diving and you realize how just everywhere infertility is.
Yeah, I mean, it's roughly 1 in 6 couples globally, whether that's heterosexual or same-sex couples, experience a fertility problem, which is absolutely enormous. And it's a really heavy burden. And it's a burden that some people are quite, they're not very aware of it until it affects them or someone in their circle. And that certainly was me. But now I'm in it. I'm in it to help everybody globally. And that's what we've done.
Yeah. So you obviously endometriosis got you into infertility, and then you came up with a new product for Phytaphix, which is sitting right behind you, Fertility Fix. So obviously you did the endometriosis stuff. You created a product to help with that, and then you've morphed that into Fertility Fix, which we have right behind you. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So about 18 months ago, I went to some fertility exhibitions, and there was a lot of like IVF clinics, some surrogacy and so on, but there was also some nutrition companies and specifically food supplement companies. So I'd be quite expert in that area, and I checked out what was the ingredients, and I didn't think it was very impressive, even though I was very new to the area. So I kind of thought, actually, I think I could do something better, more powerful, more helpful to people experience a fertility issue. So what I did was I went to the scientific research, started finding out what specific nutrients work, what doses work, and what formats work, and then also which nutrients weren't as important. So what I did is something which sounds very simple, was I put them all together, and we came up with one single product, which is for men and for women, and also anybody undergoing a fertility treatment like IVF.
So it's unisex, which...
Exactly, yeah. So we get a lot of people really love that it's unisex, and also that it's so convenient and powerful in one single product. Even here in Brussels at the show yesterday, we spoke to one lady and one guy who were taking up to 30 products daily. And I was saying, no, you don't need to do that. Here's one product. It has everything in there. So it has your key antioxidants like lipoic acid, coenzyme Q10, carotenoids, green tea extract, which are really important. Then we have like key amino acids like arginine, carnitine, and acetyl-carnitine. Then we
lots
have
of enes.
Lots of enes, yes. But we basically have 27 nutrients, which we like to say 27 nutrients, optimal doses and optimal format.
Is it tablets? Is it powder? Because that's a really big bag.
Yeah, so this is our pouch, which contains sachets. So this is a single daily serving, and that you just add to water, and that's it. It's natural raspberry flavored from natural raspberry powder. It's not like chemicals or sugars or artificial sweeteners, and that's it. You just take one sachet daily, whether you're a man or a woman, and add it to your food or drink, but generally water works very, very well, and we have some mixed in, and all you got to do is drink one sachet daily.
Actually, that big one has 30 of those in it.
Exactly.
So I could take a small one and put it in my bag, go to work.
Exactly, yeah. And obviously, we spoke earlier, you do a lot of traveling. Like, I mean, you can take 5, 10, 15 of these in your bag if you're away for 2 weeks or whatever it is. It's very, very simple. Yeah.
Let's try it. Should I try it? Let's try it.
Let's try it.
Let's try it. And this is not a sponsored podcast, by the way. Just FYI, I've known him for a while. I love this. I love the fact that he's helping people, and I'm now going to try this, and I'm a little bit nervous. We're gonna shot it, right?
Don't be nervous.
I'm like, smells raspberry-y, raspberry-y, if that makes sense.
Let me grab my mic back. So cheers, or as we say in Ireland, sláinte.
Sláinte. That's not bad.
What's the verdict?
It tastes a bit lemony for me. Yeah. It's like raspberry lemon. It doesn't taste gritty.
Yeah. We had to work quite hard on the flavour because it contains omega-3 powder, which is quite strong tasting. It has a really fishy sea smell, even though it's not made from fish. We have another nutrient in there called lipoic acid, which is quite strong tasting, and we had to cover that flavour up.
It doesn't taste medicinal. It doesn't taste chalky. It tastes really good.
Yeah. So, I mean, we just try to make it as powerful as possible, as palatable as possible. So no sugars, no chemicals, nothing else in there. And yeah, the taste is pretty good.
And so that's going to affect sperm quality, egg quality. What's it going to help?
So in gentlemen, it basically can improve sperm count. improved sperm motility, improved sperm morphology, as well as decreased sperm DNA fragmentation. And there are the 4 major characteristics which will cause fertility problems in men specifically. So it can target all of those 4 simultaneously, which is relatively unique, but really, really important. And then in ladies, it can also improve egg quality and also the uterine environment. So we have a lot of people ask, maybe they're getting egg donation or something like that, or maybe they've already conceived and now they want to optimize the environment, the in utero environment, and absolutely the nutrients in here can do that as well.
So you can take it whilst you're pregnant as well.
Can, but we're actually working on a new product, which is quite interesting. And obviously you've heard a little bit about how my background of MS led to speaking about endometriosis, which led to fertility. And then the next thing after fertility is pregnancy. So unfortunately, and as you will well know, and your listeners will not well know, that unfortunately, some couples and some ladies will conceive and then unfortunately they will lose, they will have a pregnancy loss and miscarriage. And that is absolutely heartbreaking. But it's a bit of a taboo topic, which is awful and it's very common. And so what we've discovered is some nutrients can actually reduce risk of miscarriage. But there's no product out there that's doing it. Now, Fertility Fix can help that, and we have a number of cases where ladies have conceived, but they've conceived before Fertility Fix as well. But unfortunately, those previous conceptions have led to a miscarriage on multiple occasions, and they're now 16, 20 weeks pregnant, and they're absolutely delighted because kind of the first 12 weeks of pregnancy are really crucial, and that's where vast majority of pregnancy losses happen. But they're now well past that, so it looks like they will go on and have a healthy.
Yeah, it's one factor, I guess, that's helped them remain pregnant, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, that tasted really good. I might have to have some more. It was really yummy. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. I think anything that we can do to help educate people, not only on the scientific side from the actual IVF side, but other things like this, which is the nutrition side, is so important to understand holistically the entire environment. So thank you for helping patients.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for helping me get the message out there. And if anybody would like more information, please feel free to reach out. Yeah. Anytime. I'm always delighted to talk and as you will know and help.
Yeah, we'll have a link to all of your information in our podcast. Where can we find it currently?
So it's brand new to the market. It only launched in March, and since March we've now had 13 pregnancies in ladies or couples who've been struggling for a long time, up to a decade. So it's doing something good. But right now it's only available through our website, which is Phytaphix.com, or just Google Fertility Fix, which is with a PHIX, and also check out our Instagram page, which is just Fertility Fix.
So you heard it here first, guys. Thank you so much, Connor, and we'll talk to you.
Thanks, Richard. Really appreciate it.